thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Eyewitness news. Our country is in shambles.
They would rather be aggressive with us than be aggressive against criminals.
What happened up here today was theatrics.
Disgraceful.
Powerful images from outside Parliament today, as well as in the House of Assembly, of the Free National Movement's historic protest that saw the mace being thrown out the window, and then it all unfolded. Coming up tonight, the Bahamas and the Royal Bahamas Police Force about to make history in a stunning turn of events. Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez has resigned, and ACP Shanta Knowles appointed the nation's incoming Commissioner of Police. We take a look at what it all means, and will this historic move give the Royal Bahamas Police Force the fresh start it needs? Also tonight, in a scene reminiscent of 1965, a pivotal moment in Bahamian parliamentary history, the House of Assembly was thrown into turmoil today when the historic mace was hurled outside during a heated session. The incident escalated tensions, prompting strong police response and reportedly a number of injuries. This unrest followed a protest that spiraled out of control on the outside of the halls of Parliament. And now many of you watched and shared your opinions in voice notes that were shared widely. Here are some of your thoughts.
Sinead Miller, I really have to ask you a question. I really have a concern what I saw today in Parliament. This ain't Milo piddling them time. The dumb man throw the vase out the window and they still serve underneath the Queen, underneath the King. Sinead Miller, this is not the time to be rebels. No. Shannon Cartwright was wrong what he did today. Embarrass the Bahamas, the Commonwealth Bahamas. We're going through enough, Shanique Miller. What's going on with the F&M? Are they losing their marbles? Well, surely they did today because they surely did not impress the people today. We are suffering and they are showing their weaknesses.
Boy, Shannon Dawn, you really are a flipping disappointment. I so embarrassed to you. Jesus Christopher Columbus, what? Anyway, you know something? Let me leave that.
Opinions all over the place tonight, and of course today on what took place. Coming up in a minute, you will see Travis Robinson, the coordinator of today's protest, and Gadville McDonald join me. So, regardless of how today's protest landed with the public, here's the reality in the Bahamas right now. Bahamians are embarrassed about a series of major scandals in the Royal Bahamas Police Force that have landed the nation in hot water internationally and renewed skepticism locally. They are on edge about the levels of crime. Then there is the issue of the cost of living. Bahamians are warning the PLP not to take some of their views about today's events as approval of this administration's performance. Many people who sent messages and voice notes around say they now want Prime Minister Davis to begin to really step up as leader, to make the tough decisions that are going to make a difference in the lives of everyday Bahamians. One of them, easing the impact of inflation. And even some decisions at the cabinet level, if necessary, that would show that the interests of Bahamians are priority. As one of the ladies just said, Bahamians are having a tough time. Meanwhile, tonight, Deputy Speaker of the House, Sylvanus Petty, suffered a concussion in the struggle to take back the mace today and is in hospital under observation tonight. You see him there headed into Doctor's Hospital this afternoon. We will hopefully get an update on his condition, but according to reports, he suffered a concussion and is in hospital tonight for observation. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. It's great to have you along this evening. I'm Shanique Miller. Well, it was a scene reminiscent of 1965 when Sir Lyndon Pindling tossed the mace out of the window of the House. Today, the House of Assembly was thrown into turmoil when the historic mace was hurled outside during a heated session. The incident escalated. Of course, you saw the images a moment ago. While that was happening, there was a protest outside where F&M supporters gathered en masse to call attention to what they say is an administration that is out of touch. Well, this evening, we're going to get right to it. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, the coordinator of today's events, or one of the coordinators, Travis Robinson and Gadville McDonald. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Shanique, and thank you for having us.
Yes,
it's good to be here.
It's good to have you both. Good to have you both. Listen, a lot to get to, a lot's happening. You heard the mixed reviews of Bahamians, but let's just go right to what drove that Glenys Hannah Martin said theatrics, but drove that response today by the official opposition Free National Movement. Where does the nation stand right now that something like that had to take place this morning?
Well, I think we are at an inflection point. Enough is enough. And I think the leader of the opposition, as well as the opposition itself, made the point that enough is enough. Leadership is about stewardship, and you're accountable. When these things happen, you don't sort of wrap them in secrecy. What we do is we come forward and we be transparent, and we answer questions that are being asked, and we allow the questions to be asked. There's no way that the opposition should be stifled in any way. This is the time for them to ask the tough questions on behalf of the Bahamian people, and get the answers from the Bahamian people. And we believe that they were not getting the answers, was not even being allowed to ask the question. Mm-hmm. And that creates a problem. Enough is enough. And so when these things happen, you have to take extreme measures, because at the end of the day, this country is owned by every one of us, and no one owns it. And so we all are accountable.
Travis, Gadville spoke of what took place in the House and drove that effort. Outside, though, people were protesting, basically saying the same thing, enough is enough. Describe the temperament of the Bahamian people right now.
Shanique, thank you for having me. As you mentioned, myself along with Chanel and the entire leadership caucus of the Free National Movement basically organized today's protest. But the reality is that Bahamians are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so what you saw today did not happen overnight. What you saw today was an escalation from the speaker continuously muzzling the opposition. Every time the leader comes to ask questions to the government, the speaker shuts them down. When the leader tried to speak on a national issue, the speaker shuts them down. So this is not something that happened out of thin air. This is overnight frustration. We are saying that as the opposition, we are called to hold the government feet to the fire, and we were simply doing our jobs on behalf of the Bahamian people, holding the government feet to the fire today. People are frustrated. They can't pay their bills. Rent is overburdened, escalating astronomically. Crime is out of control. People can't raise their head above water to see what's going to happen for their children the next day, sending their children to school, just giving them a meal when before they go to bed. Real life challenges is what you're seeing today, because it could have simply just been the 7 members of parliament. No, but hundreds of Bahamians, not just F&Ms, Bahamians at large, thought it necessary to be there today to send a message to this failed PLP government that enough is enough, and today we stand for our children and our children's future.
What were some of the things? We saw the images. It was quite emotive and emotional to see those images and to see the various clippings coming from downtown today. Listen, where do people stand when it comes to, as you said, the feeling by the official opposition is that its voice is muzzled in Parliament. The feeling on the ground is that, listen, more needs to be done to address the cost of living. More needs to be done to repair our reputation internationally, particularly with the Royal Bahamas Police Force. What were some of the things that people were saying today?
People were just overly frustrated, Shanique. It lent itself to many things. Some things I mentioned similar to their rent, cost of rent, BPL bills that are killing them, can't find food to eat, and the list goes on. I think today there was so much built up frustration and pent up frustration that some persons didn't have words enough to express the anger and the rage that they were going through. But the fact that we had a protest today, the fact that they had some way of expressing that anger and letting it out is what we saw today. And so again, Tanique, this is what happens when a government believes that they are entitled to govern this country. I said to someone today, Lyndon Pillen didn't die and leave the Bahamas to the PLP. This is the Bahamas for all Bahamians. And so when you believe that you could just jump on a plane, fly around off of our money, and then throw us the crumbs, it's not going to happen. We have seen this for 3 years. The Bahamian people are saying that we're standing, we're taking a stand against this type of government. We have vigilante justice that is running rogue through our country. People feel like they're not getting the justice that they need from the system. Instead of they pass legislations and enact the type of laws that will be able to help people get the justice they need, we're not seeing that.
Yes, Garville, I know you wanted to jump in. Travis says, listen, that the overall temperament, not just with FNMs, but with the average person on the street is enough. More needs to be done to address where the Bahamian people stand right now.
Oh, absolutely. A culture of corruption does not just happen. It's encouraged, right? And it's encouraged from the top all the way down.
And the top
being from the Prime Minister. Oh. We have a responsibility. He has a responsibility to make sure that systems are in place, that a culture of corruption does not exist. And if it exists, he has a responsibility to stomp it out.
Well, the commissioner, right? The outgoing commissioner of police mentioned that very term on Sunday evening during his national statement. Where do you think the Prime Minister needs to begin in addressing this culture of corruption?
Well, I'm sure that he's been getting a lot of reports in terms of what was happening across the length and breadth of the police force. All right. He appointed the commissioner of police. It was his responsibility. He appointed the Minister of National Security. He appointed them. That's his responsibility. So they ought to be accountable to him. And if they are not, then all of them should be fired. All right. So there should be no surprise on this. And you know what is so amazing about this? We don't want to hear about you now at this point talking about what you're going to do. You should be accounting to the Bahamian people as it relates to what you did, right, to prevent this, right? And this is what creates frustration, because you're not talking about what you've been doing. And because from our perspective, we believe that you haven't done enough. We believe that you've run a slack ship, right, that allowed corruption to emerge. So you're accountable. You are the leader.
Let's quickly get in, because I want to make sure that I understand the official position of the opposition. Leader Michael Pintard said it a short while ago on the newscast that, listen, the FNM isn't going to go full out and give the stamp of approval for Shanta Knowles, that they basically want to vet her. What is can you express the FNM's position, official position on that?
Well, I think the leader expressed it. I mean, the leader said she needs to be vetted. She needs to be vetted, because one of the things what we want to make sure. Is there a lack of trust, or
what is it that is being?
No, I believe there's a lack of trust in the person who's making the decision at the top. And so what happens is, I mean, listen, you don't own this. You're a steward, and stewardship means that you're accountable. You're accountable, and so let's partner up to make sure that we don't get in this place again. Let's do the right checks. Let's be accountable on the front end. So on the back end, we don't end up in this place again. Let's do what we need to do. Let's be transparent.
Question, was today an over-dramatization of wanting to send the government a message and make a point? I ask that because persons are saying with the level of lawlessness in the nation, the level of crime, the level of corruption in many places, the last thing that the Bahamian people need, and we have so many MPs have been before the court. One was recently vindicated, another is still before the court. I think he was hauled out of the house today with others. But people are saying the last thing they need is to actually see the laws in the place where laws should be most observed being violated by the opposition. How do you respond to that?
I mean,
like for example, yes, address where the Bahamian people are, address the fact that the Bahamian people need to see more being done, but how?
Yeah, well, truth be told, Shanique, the laws in context or in quotations, was not simply seen to be broken today with today's event. This was a chain of events from the speaker, none other than the speaker herself, right? When you talk about having a fair and balanced and a bipartisan parliament, it is not right that the government continues to speak in parliament and while the opposition remains silent by none other than the speaker. That's not how the Parliament of the Bahamas was created. From 1729, some 295 years ago, men and women from all walks of life fought for a democracy where both parties, opposition and government, have a say in the future and inside legislations of this country.
Well, I'll tell you, if we want to see change, it has to be across the board because, I remember Talia Johnson being given such criticisms. But let me ask this before, Gadil, for you to have the last comment here. Let's just talk about the culture of corruption. Bahamians don't disagree with that at all. Again, outgoing Commissioner Fernanda referred to it just on Sunday evening. Let's just talk about the fact that we have one of your members of parliament standing before the court right now trying to defend himself and his reputation and how he managed the people's business at one of the government entities. Where does this culture of corruption need to be addressed and stopped? Across the board, FNM, PLP, whomever, Bahamians.
What we're saying, enough is enough, period, across the board. Enough is enough, whether you're FNM or whether you're PLP. Listen, you don't own this country. We all are accountable. I don't care what colors you're wearing. We are accountable, and we are accountable to the Bahamian people. So let's be accountable. Let's put the systems in place. Stop wrapping these stuff in secrecy, right? Account and be blatant. Put the laws in place where we don't get here again. Let's be serious about developing our country at a place where we all can see democracy on display. Michael Pintar and the leaders and the members of the opposition has demonstrated great level of cooperation over the years. They've demonstrated it. They have been pleading with them. Listen, we want you to win. We want you to work. We want you to make sure that you're doing these things that the Bahamian people requires you to do. We are your partners. They have demonstrated it. But so if they didn't listen to them, they tried to muzzle them. It reaches a point whereby we have to say enough is enough. You don't own this country. You alone are not the keepers of democracy. We all are. And so when you try to muzzle me, I'm gonna push back on behalf of the Bahamian people. And we showed up downtown today to push back, to say enough is enough. We all own this country, and we are calling for transparency, and we are calling for accountability.
I thank you very much, gentlemen. Gadvin McDonald, Travis Robinson, thank you both very, very much. Both gentlemen here speaking on today really was a pivotal moment and a line in the sand, largely for Bahamians to send a message that, listen, be about the Bahamas' business and in the right way. But listen, we have the Office of the Prime Minister here. We're going to get a response to what was said a moment ago, and also talk about the appointment, the first female commissioner of police that's in the pipeline. We're going to talk about that and much more right after this. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back in a moment.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
For carpets, bed sheets, and bath mats, there's a place I know. For shower curtains, comforters, and window curtains, only one place to go. Fixing your home or automotive, that's no fuss. We put a smile on your face. Come and shop with us for all you need and more. Shop at AID for Christmas.
Has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay eatin' well.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Well, at the top of the show, you heard me talk about the fact that the Bahamas and the Royal Bahamas Police Force is on the verge of making history. Shanta Knowles has been appointed as the incoming commissioner. Of course, that will be approved after some interviews, etc., as you heard the leader of the opposition say. However, Shanta Knowles has most recently been the assistant commissioner of police in charge of the Northern District, stationed in Grand Bahama. She is an Eleuthera native and also served as officer in charge of the island before her Northern District appointment. Today, Prime Minister Davis rolled out new legislation to create, for the first time, independent oversight of the police. The Prime Minister says this independent oversight can play an essential role in strengthening trust between the police, the communities they serve. Now, joining me this evening to talk about, in fact, listen, y'all, listen, how about who is the greatest news organization right up and now? That's us. That's us getting Shanta Knowles, ACP, headed into, and there's Clayton Fernando, headed into the office of the Prime Minister. Yeah, we got that. We're just happy. There's an official photo of Shanta Knowles for those of you who perhaps aren't familiar with her. But listen, we're going to get into this right now because a lot to get to in this segment. Director of the Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latre Raming, joins me right now. Good evening to you, Latre. It's good to have you here.
Welcome back.
Yes, thank you. Yes. I know I've been off, and yes. Yeah. So thank you. It's good to see you. It's been a while. This move to appoint Shanta Knowles to help shift the force, a much-needed shift, will also help in bringing much needed, roll with me, Jen, roll with me all please, who's there sleeping, much needed change as the first female to fill the spot of Commissioner of Police. Let us just talk, Latre. Will Knowles, who is stepping into a whole, just a mess, really, and so much going on, will she be able to do the heavy lifting that will be required to get the job done?
No, absolutely. Good night, Bahamas. ACP Knowles, who's been recommended to become the country's next Commissioner of Police, have more than 30 years of experience on the force. She has 28 years and experience in investigative crimes. She's the first woman to be
CID.
So her head CID. She specialized in sex crimes. She specialized in rape. She specialized in violent crime and serious crimes. She was the first person in the Bahamas to secure the successful case in human trafficking in the Bahamas. She has extensive experience. She has a reputation of being no nonsense. Someone used an explicit and saying she doesn't anchor around. So I mean that's the kind of reputation she has. I think that.
Also, she's known and gained a reputation
she has gained a reputation
on the force as a no-nonsense
person. I tell you what, and you know when the question was asked, who is the best person for this time, and
a woman.
It had nothing to do with gender.
So this because it
just happened to be that she was a woman, and I think that the Bahamas will see very soon that she is extremely qualified. She did a very good job in Eleuthera. She did a very good job for Abaco in Northern Bahamas. And she's going to make a fantastic Commissioner of Police.
Okay, I tell you, interesting times. Now, Latre is no secret. ACP Knowles will walk into the top spot having a lot on her plate instantly. Among them, the Michael Johnson case. Is the outgoing commissioner going to clear up that matter before she takes the chair?
I think the Commissioner of Police last week, Sunday, and said that he intends to deal with the matter. But I think that the transition is something that will be communicated to the public. I also think it's important that this administration have all the confidence in Shanta's ability to lead the force to this era of reform. She has demonstrated over her time as in the force that she has an extensive record. I think that she can handle this moment. I think the Prime Minister made a very swift move. He was very impressed by her. I think that he moved very quickly to identify a successor and to make the recommendation to Governor General.
Now, the Free National Movement leader, Michael Pintard, says, listen, we don't quite know who Knowles is, and we're not going to just out the gate give her a stamp of approval. They want to carry out their own investigations of her and vet her as well. Your thoughts on the fact that they want to sort of take their time in making sure and ensuring she's the right woman for the job?
I think, the opposition have a right to their opinion. They play an essential role in our democracy. I was surprised that the leader of the opposition, despite her being in charge of the Northern Bahamas for a year now, wasn't able to accurately give an assessment to her. But I think that he will see, and I hope he give her the space of confidence that she will demonstrate her ability to lead the force at this time. So her resume speaks for itself. Most certainly, I think that she may be open to speaking to them before time. And so I think that the Prime Minister, the Constitution says he requires to consult the leader of the opposition, but he doesn't require the agreement of the opposition to move forward. I think that the force need a transitional leadership now, and he made it very clear.
Well, I'll tell you this. The nation needs her to succeed, and already there are many people who are applauding her promotion and obviously rooting for the best.
I think while she is the first woman in the force 184 years history, I think it's also important to recognize that she is the best person to serve at this time.
Yeah, because let's just talk about that for a second. This ain't trying to stand no statement to say, we support the women, and this ain't that.
This is
business.
It's bigger than that. I think the challenges are too complex. I think that the reform, the mandate of reform is absolutely necessary. This is not blind tokenism. It's who is the best person to carry the force forward at this time.
When the Prime Minister announced that there will be an independent sort of legislation that ushers in independence for the police force, what does that mean exactly for the Bahamian people? Because people used to saying, the police force is one political...
This independent oversight that goes beyond the police force. It really speaks to all law enforcement agencies in the Bahamas. If the bill that is currently being consulted on publicly now will call for the the ability of a civilian body to investigate all matters of misconduct, corruption. They'll have the power to subpoena, the power to recommend charges. So this
independent body.
This independent body. So, for example, this is going to be the first time in the history of Bahamas such an institution exists, and I think that it shows to the level of reform that Bahamians want. They want a system where police aren't investigated themselves. They want a system where there's broader oversight. And they want a system where there's broader oversight, not only for the police force, for all law enforcement agencies. We recognize that the issue of corruption is systemic, and you need to ensure that you improve these institutions. That's why we're going to go, the government of Bahamas is going to go beyond the inspectorate. The AG's office is finalizing
law?
No, that's not the law. But the commission, the Integrity Commission.
Oh.
And the Integrity Commission will call for further investigation across the sector.
So this is something even separate than the independent body?
Oh. The independent body. So I think you're going to see a very sustained effort to deal with the issue over a period of time. The governor of Bahamas is going to deal with this matter, particularly with the law enforcement agencies, and after that they'll go to the Integrity Commission.
Is this the Prime Minister showing that, listen, he is now standing up and standing strong and showing the Bahamian people exactly what they want to see, because they've been begging for, listen, Prime Minister Davis, let's get some things done, make some tough decisions.
I think the Prime Minister has been consistent on these matters. I think last week when he was in the House of Assembly, he outlined what is required. He said that he will meet with the U.S. Charge of Affairs. He said that he'll meet with both forces. And in 1 week, we've seen the transition from one commissioner of police to a new commissioner of police. We've seen that the governor of the Bahamas has indicated by way of diplomatic note to the U.S. government to identify the high-ranking politician that they have placed in their indictment. So he's very serious about what he's laid out, and he's come back 1 week later to update the Bahamian people on what he's done so far.
Was it known already on Sunday evening when outgoing Commissioner Fernanda was making his speech that he would be resigning?
I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Okay, so listen, Trey, let's move forward to what happened today outside Parliament and in Parliament. First of all, let's just start with the fact that, do you have any update on Sylvanus Petty's, the Deputy Speaker's position? It is said that he sustained injuries or a hit to the head, and therefore a mild concussion, and is hospitalized.
So the latest update I've received from the Speaker of the House is that the doctors have made a decision to keep him overnight. So he remained hospitalized, and I think that they're going to run further tests on him. And so we'll have a further update in the morning.
Yeah. Now let's just talk about this message that was sent today. It is no secret. The mood in the country is one of disgust on various levels. Disgust with the fact that Bahamians want various things addressed: the cost of living, the matter of the police, that the trust has been destroyed there, and just so many other things. Let us talk about what you think the government got from today's protest.
I think beyond the effort and protest, I think it was important to understand that it has not escaped this administration that the Bahamian people have the right to be frustrated about what they see in their police force. They have the right to be angry about the betrayal of trust by those who are sworn out to protect us. And so it has not escaped this administration that the government has to act and act quickly. We have to ensure that we build a kind of country that people have invested trust in their institutions, and we have to ensure that they have the kind of independent oversight that will call for an investigation. The Prime Minister will very soon make significant strides around the issue of cost of living.
Now, do you think the level in which today's events unfolded, particularly in Parliament, do you think it was an overreach? Do you think it was warranted, the level at which the Free National Movement went at it?
I think my opinion is, I think that I maintain the previous point of view that the opposition play a critical role in our democracy. I think that you could go about different ways to get the results you want. I understand that the leader of the opposition at the time wanted to make a presentation whilst the House was in the agenda of minister's statement. Usually you cover Parliament for a lot of time. Usually when there's member statement, only cabinet ministers will speak at the time. He didn't give the Speaker of the House opportunity to make a decision on ruling. But I think that I was in Parliament. I was able to see firsthand the orchestration between Adrian White going to opening the window way before Michael Pinta got up. I think that that's what they wanted to achieve today. Whether it satisfies the Bahamian people, I think that they will be the ultimate decision maker in months to come. But I believe that the Bahamian people requires a level of decency, a level of representation. I think that they want to see the kind of politics that demonstrate the kind of political maturity. They are rightfully angry about their police force. They are rightfully concerned about the growing cost of living. And so what they want to see is both political parties coming together to take on the issues of the people's business. But if the FNM is satisfied that that was the right approach, then I leave it to them.
In your opinion, is the speaker unfair, or is she not being given a fair chance in her deliberations?
I think you said something early. You know, the speaker today and on both occasions went by the rule book. And if you remember last week, the rule book simply said that if a member of parliament wants to raise on a matter of national importance, and if there's a quorum, the House votes, the majority would rule, and so she'll govern by the rule. I think whether it's a PLP speaker or FNF speaker, there will always be a perception of bias towards a political party. I think that you'll never escape that. So the question of fairness will always continue to arise, irrespective of who's the political party. I think as speaker, you'll try to do your best, and ultimately, both political parties, if the government in power and they're not satisfied, they'll complain if the opposite party complains.
Well, it's nothing new.
It's nothing new. It's nothing new.
The charges of being unfair is
nothing new. I think you alluded to Atalia Johnson.
Atalia Johnson
that happens all the time.
Same complaints levied at her in her time as Speaker of the House. Meanwhile, though, how is this process going to be that leads towards the official appointment of ACP Shanta Knowles?
So over the coming days, government in the Bahamas will continue to announce the transitional phase. The Prime Minister indicated that he wants to make more changes at the leadership level of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. So I'll leave it to him to announce those changes, and I think the government of Bahamas congratulate Shanta Knowles.
Well, certainly we look forward to having whomever in the chair that will help get this police force back in check, get the police force doing what it is sworn to do, and obviously not giving us an awful reputation, whether locally or internationally. So certainly, of course, the nation sits and awaits Shanta Knowles' tenure as Commissioner of Police. Thank you very much, Trey Ramming, the Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister. Thank you very much. Thank you. I didn't give you a chance to respond to what the FNM had to say, but that's you said it. You absolutely said it. But don't go anywhere, because I'll tell you, you talk about opinions and you talk about thoughts of everything that transpired today. That's coming up next, right after the break. Stay close.
K Michelle. What up, y'all? It's your girl K Michelle. December the 28th, I'm gonna be in the Bahamas. I'm coming to sing some songs. Yes, Bahamas, K Michelle. We gonna light some candles tonight. Very special. Life Jennings.
Yo, what's up? Nassau, Bahamas. Life Jennings is performing December 28th.
And Jay Holiday.
Yo, what's good, man? It's me, your boy Jay Holiday. I'm going to be performing live on Saturday, December 28th.
At the Nassau Cruise Port. Early bird tickets are now available online. Powered by 103.5 The Beat. Nightlife Entertainment. Alpha Sound Promotions. Free Bands Entertainment. 242 Party and Playhouse. See y'all. Bahamas, December 28th.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. To walk in the taxi, you gotta do the Lucky Walk, Four. Thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You only win $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
What you doing? Where you at? We got a code that you can crack. With Island Luck, you can win $1 million. 7 digits, 0 to 9. You could redeem your promo points online. You should be guessing and not stressing. Could be $1 million in your possession. No need to question what's happening. We just made up some games to try to get you some money that'll make it alright. So if you wanna change your life, crack the code and stop joking. Crack the code and stop joking. Crack the code and stop joking, y'all. Crack the code and stop joking. Joking. If you guess the numbers right, no more stressing, we'll be ballin' tonight, baby. We can make your dreams come true. Play Crack the Code today. Win $1 million only on Island Luck.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We are going to get into some of the hot topics, and the hot topics panelists, I couldn't leave them out tonight because I want to hear their opinions of exactly what transpired today from this morning in Parliament and at the same time on Bay Street. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Beyond the Headlines contributors Leslie Miller and Peggy Scott. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you both here. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having.
Yes, sir. And of course, ma'am. Listen, let's just jump right in. You know, before we even get into what took place, today was a message sent to all politicians, even for people who didn't show up on Bay Street. The Bahamas is at a place where it feels like it's teetering, and people want a clear direction. People want things to be different. Peggy, your thoughts about just where the temperament of the nation stands right now?
Shanique, thank you for having me. Good night, Bahamas. The people are at a point where they've had enough of being disrespected by those we hired to look out for our best interests, to make laws and policy to protect us, and to be open and transparent. If your boss asks you a question, answer. And so your silence, your disrespect in not answering, your disrespect in covering up, because that's how we see it. If there is things that need to be clarified, it is the responsibility of this government and any other government to make it clear. When Bahamians, and I said this in 2017, when Bahamians have to assume a situation, it will not be in the best interest of the serving administration. And so we are back at this place that we have to try and figure it out. We're calling each other. What you think? What you think? When the information, we're sure the information is before our leaders. Why do you continue to disrespect us? Why do you continue to repeat the same mistake? And the same action will bring you the same results.
Leslie?
I find it a little curious. It appears to me that a lot of people are overreacting to what happened today. The Speaker of the House was going through the motions of allowing ministers to speak. She was interrupted. A fuss broke out between her and one of the members of Parliament. And it got very heated. I was surprised, really, for the first time in my lifetime, being in Parliament for 15 years, that on the Mace, an historical item like the Mace, which really came into being in our minds in 1965 by Sir Lyndon, Honorable Arthur Hanna, and Sir Milo. But that was done for purpose to elevate black people to a place of belongership in this place called the Bahamas.
So what you're saying, you're saying the Mace incident that took place today really has no place in a 2024 Bahamas?
It trivializes what the Mace is. The Mace is there for honor and respect and decorum in the House. And today was just a misnomer of what the Mace is about. I don't know what publicity, get cheap publicity from it, if that was the choice you choose. I was sort of surprised that as soon as he got up, two people in particular started taking pictures, which made me feel that it was orchestrated prior to them going to Parliament. But be that as it may, we'd see what the story is next time. People are frustrated, I accept that. But most people out there were supporters of the Free National Movement, which is their right to go and support their own party. That's the right of every Bahamian. I just think we need to tone it down some, and that thing's taking its course. Everybody's upset.
But Leslie, tone it down. Now let's go to that point right there.
Yes.
The Bahamian people need to see some action. This isn't just about what took place today, whether it's theatrics, whether it was arranged, act, and obviously it was. This is about the fact of where the nation finds itself.
Yes.
What is, and you heard them say what they want to see from the Prime Minister. What does this administration need to do to step on that and ahead of what's sort of almost boiling over?
Listen, at the present time, there are numerous problems within the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Defence Force. The matters has to be cleared up. I find it very troubling to me that the courts of the United States could bring charges or presumed charges against a Bahamian without giving the name publicly. Who the hell this guy is, who this politician is.
The politician.
That should be known by everybody. I don't care who it is. Doesn't matter. But the secrecy that they comes with to really frustrate the system. You got to figure out who it is. Well, if you call out other names, what's wrong with calling the person? Whoever it is.
Right.
And is it really a person?
You know what, Leslie, that's a good point, because that alone is adding to the distrust and the questions, and then also putting the Prime Minister is sort of under speculation, like, why can't you tell the Bahamian people who this person is? But again, as you said,
they were the ones who brought it up.
The Southern District hasn't named the person.
And the question one will ask, ordinary Bahamians will ask, why doesn't the U.S. authorities feel comfortable with telling our leaders, if they are drug-dealing MPs in the House of Assembly, why don't they tell our leaders? Why are they uncomfortable
They don't have to be
releasing this information? And so it will make us ask, is it a matter of distrust?
BS.
What we have to realize is we have a senior member of the police force on garden leave when the voice notes were clear, and it seems like if he's being protected there. And so if I can recognize this and other Bahamians can recognize this, don't you think the American authorities recognize this, that the chances of bringing result to a matter, a criminal matter, where members of our parliament are involved, with members of our senior police force, senior members of the police force.
So provide the names.
Provide the names. Now put it out to us.
Ain't no matter trust.
Donald Trump, whomever, will provide the names. You don't have to tell our leaders. Tell us. Tell us, and we'll take it from there. Because we want for drug dealing and gun running. When gun running is the biggest problem with the murdering of our young people, and if we find out that a member of parliament is involved in gun running, I promise you we'll deal with it as a people. And this is the problem that we have.
People, Peggy, deserve to know. That's what
we want to know. And this member is probably sitting in the House of a Parliament, still getting paid. You drug-dealing, gun-running human being.
You are making allegations that there's no proof of.
It is proof because the same information. I agree with you.
Okay, come with the damn name.
U.S. government.
But stop playing these games.
Forget our leaders who you don't trust. Forget our leaders who you think are
stop holding the Bahamian people.
And let us know, because you're causing problems and further eroding the trust of our leaders.
I absolutely agree. I want both of you. Let's shift to the shake up. And obviously the changing of the guard in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We have ACP Shanta Knowles, who Latre mentioned and gave sort of a resume of her and her experience in the force, the various areas she's filled, most recently the Northern District. Your thoughts about what she's stepping into, and then also what's expected of her, given the backdrop of the Prime Minister's announcements of an independent body that will sort of be there to ensure the police's independence and obviously hold them accountable. And then Trey mentioned an integrity commission that's also in the works. Your thoughts about all of this that's taking shape and happening, and as the Bahamas obviously needs a clear new direction for the Royal Bahamas Police Force moving forward?
My fellow Eleutherian, Ms. Knowles, my prayers, and I'm requesting the prayers of every Bahamian for you, because you have been trusted into a mess. You and people are saying congratulations. I'm praying for you because you are now being a lead, being put in charge of organization that is steeped in corruption, even according to the outgoing Commissioner of Police. A culture of corruption. This is what they're giving you, ma'am. And so I pray your strength in the Lord, because you're gonna need it.
Mm-hmm. From what I understand, this is a fine lady. She has a lot of experience in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I'm concerned about some of the people she's going to meet there, some of the snakes that are there, that may try to take hold in certain areas. I'm very concerned about that. And hopefully she will clean the deck before or as soon as she takes office and do what is necessary without any political interference in decisions that she makes fall on behalf of the Bahamian people. I wish her well. We need to clean it up. We need to clean up once and for all, and those responsible. I'm even including the gentleman who was killed, and they have allegations now as to who might have taken him out. Get to the root of this problem, solve the problem, move on with our lives, because it affects each and every Bahamian. I don't want you all to have this notion in your head that when America or any other country says it's the government, they mean it's the damn Bahamian people. Remember, we are people of color, and they like to bring us down. The United States government, okay? Look at who they have in Congress. Look at who they have as a president. A man who was found guilty.
We bringing ourselves down.
We ain't bringing nobody down.
We bringing ourselves down.
Bring us down on every level.
Leslie, that might be true, but the point about it is they said this investigation has been over 3 years now, and that they have solid intel.
If grown, responsible senior members of the police and defense force and alleged members of parliament are dealing in cocaine trafficking.
Who are the members of parliament? And who are the members of parliament?
I
don't care.
I don't care who they are. So PLP, FNM, you call your boys in your party and tell them, boycott. The Minister of Foreign Affairs was instructed to write his note asking for more information. You follow up with them and tell us if he wrote that note.
I don't make accusations that I can't back up.
I'm making no action. I'm making no allegation.
Give it to the Bahamian people.
Listen to me. If I had
Provide us with it.
I'm making no allegation.
Provide us with the information.
The indictment said what it said, and I'm not going to pretend that it was not said. You want to pretend and say because we black. I'm a black woman, and I don't commit no crime. I serve on the Royal Bahamas Defense, and I am an honest, black, hard-working woman, so I can't say because we black, they're picking on us.
Peggy, the majority of Bahamians are. And so certainly we all are watching intensely of what comes out of the Southern District of New York.
Because we black.
Leslie,
that ain't no fact of life.
It's
not a fact of life. It's because they were dealing drugs and running guns. That's the fact of life.
Very serious allegations. Now, again, Leslie, we are waiting for them.
Taking the U.S. side.
No, we are
waiting. I'm taking nobody's side. If our government would be transparent with us, we wouldn't have to do it.
Listen, y'all, the host is speaking.
That's their responsibility.
Thank you very much. A very emotive topic, but certainly, and subject in particular. And as you can see, Bahamians, as a part of resetting the Royal Bahamas Police Force, need that information to be made public so that, again, the law can take its course, regardless of where the chips fall. And so I thank you both very much, because that right there is where Bahamians are as well. They want answers, and they want to see that, listen, the law does work, and it works for anyone who violates the law. And so certainly, absolutely. And again, the investigation started from early 2021. So 2021 officially. So wherever it is and whoever is responsible, Bahamians are saying, bring them black, white, red, that's yellow. Bring the person into account. I thank you both very, very much. Leslie Miller and Peggy Scott. Thank you very, very much. I want to thank, of course, at the top of tonight's show, Leslie, if you don't hush your mouth. At the top of tonight's show, we had, of course, representatives from the Free National Movement. Thank them very much for joining me here this evening. Of course, you saw Office of the Prime Minister's Director of Communication, Latre Raming, joining me in the middle segment. And in this segment, I tell you, it's get real hot up in here. You all listen. But that's where Bahamians are truly tonight. And so thank you both again, Leslie Miller, Peggy Scott. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of you this evening for tuning in. We certainly enjoyed having you along, and we look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.